Welcome, good afternoon. So today we're going to be discussing the 5 mistakes homeschoolers make so that you don't make them too. These are mistakes that new homeschoolers make, that old homeschoolers sometimes fall into too. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Dr. Gemma Elizabeth. I am the founder of OurMuslimHomeschool.com, and I'm the host of this podcast, Raising Mums. And this is a weekly broadcast that I stream here on Facebook and on Instagram. And I hope through this podcast to inspire mums to live with purpose and intention, to raise their children mindfully, and empower mothers everywhere to own their lives and thrive doing it. Before we get started, I apologize for the sound again this week. We still haven't got carpets down in the house. There's no curtains, so there is an echo. So I apologize for that. I think the sound is a little bit better on Facebook, Instagram. If it's bugging you, you can hop over to Facebook. So I am going to be discussing the 5 mistakes homeschoolers make. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum, everyone here on Facebook. So as we go along, feel free to hop in and comment. Feel free to ask questions. I'll try to make time for questions at the end of this session. And talk to one another, help each other out, answer each other's questions, inshallah. It's so much nicer when we have a conversation together rather than me just talking at you. Let's talk together, inshallah. Share it with your friends. I think actually if you want to, you can even tag your friends now so that if they're around, if they're online, they can hop on live. So on Instagram, I think there's a little button, a little paper airplane that you can press, and you can send a message to your friends and they can hop on live if they want. And Facebook, you can just tag them down in the comments. Assalamu alaikum, Fatima, I'm glad you're here. Right, so, so today, the 5 mistakes homeschoolers make so that you don't make them too. Before we get into this, I want to see if any of you, Charmaine, you're here, wa alaikum salam. I'm so glad you're here. Right, so I want you, before we start, to tell me, what do you think the mistakes homeschoolers make are? Let's see if we're on the same wavelength. Let's see if we're thinking the same way. What are the 5 mistakes that homeschoolers make? Give me one. Maybe you can guess one mistake that they make and pop it down in the comments. And while you're doing that, first of all, I'm going to change the brightness on Facebook. It's kind of scaring me a little bit. It's a bit too bright, this thing. That's better. Right. Okay. And right, while you're telling me what you think the mistakes homeschoolers make are, I want to introduce today's sponsor. So today's video is being sponsored by me. So today's video is being sponsored by me. As you know, I hope you know that I'm launching a course, an online course for new homeschoolers. It's called Launch Your Homeschool. And it's actually coming out on Saturday, this Saturday. So just 6 days away? SubhanAllah. So it is a program designed for new homeschoolers or homeschoolers who have been doing it a while and just want to reboot and restart all over again. It is going to hold your hand and guide you through the beginning stages of homeschooling. It is a step-by-step approach, a systematic approach to take you from confused, overwhelmed, maybe a bit excited, but you are unsure of what you're doing, to a point where you are confident in your plan. You have crafted a curriculum for your children that resonates with you, that aligns with your values, that really reflects the needs of your children. And you've chosen the right resources. So there are various modules. There's a module on what I've called the fundamentals, which are basically like the law, learning what the law is where you live, what the foundation of your homeschool should be and how to build upon that foundation. There's going to be a module on crafting your own curriculum, one that aligns with your values and the needs of your children. There's a module on planning, yay, homeschool planning. There's lessons about time management, because that is very, very important, a very important skill for homeschoolers, homeschooling mums to learn. There are going to be live Q&A sessions too. So those Q&A sessions are not just at the beginning. They are going to run throughout the year, actually, to give you support throughout your first year of homeschooling, inshallah. So those will be live so that you can get a more intimate learning experience. And there's going to be an ebook too, because, you know, why not? I've thrown in an ebook as well. And there will be a student community as well, where you can get to know one another and answer one another's questions and support one another. And the most exciting part, if that wasn't exciting enough, the most exciting part is that 50% of the profits of this launch, of this course launch, are going to charity. And that makes me so happy that I'm able to do that. So half of the profits of this launch, of this course, will be going to charity, inshallah. So all the details, I mean, I hope that's given you some information, because I've been getting an awful lot of questions about people wanting more info. If you want even more information than that, it will be coming out on Saturday when enrollment starts. So there will be a place where you can go. I'll direct you to a link where you can go and get all the information. But people, if you really think you might be interested in this course, if there's even the slightest chance that you might want to enroll, then please sign up to my mailing list. Please enter your email somewhere on my website so that you don't miss out, because enrollment is only for 9 days and then I'm shutting it. It's not something that I'm going to continue all year long. I'm shutting enrollment after 9 days. Because I really want to focus on the students that are in the course, make sure that they're successful. I want to make sure that I am 100% or more devoted to what they need and making sure that they're successful. So the enrollment is only open for 9 days. So please put your email down on that mailing list so that you get all the information, so you know when enrollment begins, and so that you can get early bird pricing. That as well is only open for the first 36 hours and then the price goes up. So please, if you want to enroll, if you want to get more information, then go to launchyourhomeschool.com. Here it is on Facebook. There we go. launchyourhomeschool.com, and then just pop your email in. I'm not going to spam you. I'm just going to send you information about the course for those 9 days, and then inshallah you'll just get a newsletter every now and again from me. So, right, let's see what everybody thinks. Who has given me possible mistakes that homeschoolers make? Has anybody here on Instagram popped in what they think the mistakes homeschoolers make are? Walaikum salam, Sakina, Sarah. So Susie has said replicating public school at home. Yeah, mashallah, Susie, that is definitely one. But I want to push you further than that, Susie, and anybody who wants to answer that. Yes, replicating public school at home is a mistake, but in what way are you replicating public school at home? Because not everything in school is wrong. Some things are okay, some things are good. What aspect of public school that you're replicating at home is problematic? Have a little think about that. Let's see what people are saying on Facebook. Walaikum salam, Anisa from Indonesia, mashallah. Let's see, trying to mirror school again. Yeah, mashallah. So again, what aspect of school are we talking about here? Because that can manifest itself in lots of different ways, which I'm going to talk about in this talk. Setting expectations too high. Yes. Yeah, mashallah, that is a really good one as well, actually. And I think some parents are more inclined towards that than others. Setting expectations of their children too high, or setting expectations of themselves too high. That's really, really good one, actually. Yeah. Trying to mimic the school setting, comparing and competing with others. All excellent points. But actually, I'm going to touch on some of them in today's session, but I'm going to bring in some new points as well, which I hope you'll benefit from, inshallah. Okay, right. I think we'll just get started. Okay, so 5 mistakes that homeschoolers make so that you don't make them too. The first one that I think many of us are guilty of is that we spend way too long shopping around for curriculum, trying to find that perfect curriculum for our kids. How many of us are guilty of that? Of spending hours and hours online looking at all the options for every single subject, for every single child, and then looping back around and starting all over again. We spend hours doing it. But the reality is, whatever curriculum you choose, within reason, you can provide a good education with any curriculum you choose. There is no perfect curriculum. There is no best curriculum. There is only, the success of your homeschool comes down to you as a mother, not the books you buy. So like anything in life, what you buy can only take you so far. Think about it on the weekend. Say you spent 5 hours, or maybe more. Maybe you spent 6 hours online shopping around for a maths curriculum. You looked at all the options, you watched YouTube videos, you looked inside different curriculum. You spent 6 hours doing that. Wouldn't it have been more beneficial to your children and to your homeschool if perhaps you spent 2 hours shopping for that maths curriculum, picked something at the end that you thought was right, and spent the remaining 4 hours doing something like meal prep, preparing freezer meals for when your homeschool starts, so that when you do start homeschooling, you're not stressed about what you're going to eat for dinner that night. You've already got something in the freezer. Or you spent some of that time resting so that when you're homeschooling, you're well rested and you're in a good mood. 6 hours or more spent on the weekend looking at curriculum is madness, okay? As somebody who is an experienced homeschooler, I'm telling you now, you can pick almost anything out there and educate your children well with it. You could spend hundreds of pounds on the best and most fancy curriculum out there with beautiful books and beautiful wooden toys and all the gadgets, but you could still give your children a poor education. The education of your children does not come down to what you buy. It comes down to you as a mother. And we're going to get into more about that later on in this session. So for those of you who are on a budget, I hope that will give you some comfort to know that you can definitely give your children a good education, even if you're working on a very strict budget. In my upcoming course, we talk about how to create your own curriculum, how to craft your own curriculum based upon your values. And I really do stress that when it comes to picking the curriculum, even though I do have a lesson on that, this should not take you long. You should not be spending too long upon that part of your on that part of your planning. There's so many other things that come into a successful homeschool. The second mistake that homeschoolers make is that they underestimate the importance of a happy mum. And I'm assuming that the mother is teaching here, that the mother is the one in charge of home educating, but the same could be true for the father if the father's in charge. So they underestimate the importance of a happy mum. Charlotte Mason, she said that education is an atmosphere, a discipline, and a life. I'm not going to go into exactly what that means, but if we just look at the first part of that, education is an atmosphere. What does that mean? That means that you are the atmosphere, mum. You are the atmosphere that is in your home. We're not talking about scented candles here. We're not talking about soft music. We're talking about you. What do you prioritize in your home? What do you show your children is important? You are the atmosphere. So if you are coming to your homeschool morning and you're tired and you're stressed and you're grumpy, that is educating your children in something. Is it showing them that homeschooling is a drag? Is it showing your kids that they're a burden? Is it educating them that learning is not fun, but we just have to get through it? You are the atmosphere. You, mum, are the education. And, likewise, if we contrast that, if you're coming to your homeschool enthusiastic, happy, energetic, in a good mood, what are you teaching your kids? You're teaching your kids that learning is exciting, learning is fun, learning is beneficial and worthwhile, and mum's excited, and so the kids get excited too. So it's not all about the books you buy. It's not all about the curriculum that you use. It's just as much about you, mum, and your well-being. So as much as you want to spend hours looking at curriculum and hours picking out books, also spend some time looking after yourself, making sure that you are fulfilled and healthy and happy because you are educating them through your example. So the third mistake that homeschoolers make is that they pay too much attention to the voices of others. And somebody here on Facebook touched upon that as a mistake that people make. And it's definitely true. It's true for some people more than others. And it's something that new homeschoolers really fall into, because I know when you first start out that you lack confidence, and that's understandable. But you have to really be mindful of which opinions and which voices you allow in. Don't listen to everybody who shares their opinion. We all have people in our life, we know who they are, who like to voice their opinions. They voice their opinions about everything. Doesn't mean you have to listen to them. The people whose opinions you should pay attention to, okay? Because it is worthwhile getting advice from people. So the people whose advice you should listen to are people who genuinely care for your kids, really deeply care for your kids. The people who have experience in what you're doing. So other homeschoolers, people, whether that's people online like me or people in your life, people who have walked that road that you're trying to walk now, listen to their advice by all means. And listen to the advice of people who have the same values as you, who value the same things as you. Those are the voices that you can allow in. Everybody else, that random person who stops you in Tesco asking why your kids aren't in school, don't listen to them. That neighbor who wants to know, what you're doing with your kids and gives you advice, you don't need to listen to them. Just listen to those 3 groups of people that we talked about, and even then, cut it down. Cut it down to a few really trustworthy people. Don't listen to them all, because what will happen if you do that as a new homeschooler is it'll knock your confidence in yourself and your own abilities. You can do this, and if you start listening to all the voices out there, it's going to knock you back. So, this one makes me laugh. Okay, the fourth mistake that homeschoolers make. And if you've done this, be honest, right? Tap that heart button or give me a thumbs up on Facebook. The fourth mistake that homeschoolers make, they buy all the curriculum that they need for the whole year. Have you done that? Have you ever considered how damaging that can be? You do not need to buy everything you need for the whole year for September or August. You might see YouTubers doing that. I've done that. But they're doing it for their videos because they want to show their community what... I can see people thumbs up and hearting here. Okay, so they're doing that on YouTube because they want to show their community what they're doing. They're doing it for the video, essentially, to share. But normal people don't need to buy everything in September. Because what happens if you buy everything? If you buy everything from day one that you need for the whole year, what happens? You're stuck with it. Or at least you feel that way. What you want to be doing is buying it as you need it. So in today's day and age, Amazon Prime, if you're in a country that has Amazon Prime, your child, for instance, could finish their storybook, their literature. They finished that book and they really enjoyed it. And so you can then pop onto Amazon or wherever and buy the next book in that series. You have that option because you know they're going to enjoy that, you know they're going to benefit from it. However, if you've already bought all their reading books for the whole year, you're going to feel like, I can't buy any more. We've already got 20 books on the shelf. And so your child misses out on that opportunity to read something that he could really have enjoyed, and you've pushed them onto something else. Even more damaging, what if they didn't enjoy that book that you gave them? And because perhaps it was too hard, and you know that all the rest of the books that you've already invested in are just as hard, if not harder. What are you going to do? You're going to feel obliged. Even if you're going to feel obliged, whether you're a new homeschooler or not, to be honest, you're going to feel obliged to push them into those books, even though it would have been better to maybe put them into something easier. When you buy everything at once for the whole year, it puts a lot of pressure on you to follow that plan. And you're homeschooling now. You are crafting your own journey, your own path. You shouldn't have any of these restrictions, and you definitely shouldn't be placing restrictions on yourself. So what do? You don't buy everything you need for the whole year, okay? You buy maybe what you need for a term, because it is good to have something ready. It gives you a sense of reassurance. But even better, buy it for just 6 weeks if you can. There are some subjects, like maths, which you have to buy them the whole year ahead. If you can, though, if they give the option to buy less than a year, definitely buy it less than the year, because again, you're going to feel obliged to follow that curriculum through. And what if your kid doesn't like it? What if you don't like it? Don't buy everything at once. You know, in today's day and age, you really don't need to. The only exception to that is if you're using a religious text that you really want your children to read and to learn from, or if you're in a country where you don't have things like Amazon Prime, or you don't have access to really good homeschooling resources and you want to stock up. Those are obviously two exceptions to that rule. Okay, and finally, which some of you, mashallah, have already suggested, is the fifth mistake that homeschoolers make is that they use school as their model for everything in their homeschool. That can manifest in a number of ways. It can manifest from the way you set up your homeschooling room to what I want to talk about now, which is what subjects you use for your children. Now, in my upcoming course, I go into how to choose the right subjects for your kids that align with your ambitions for your children. So you have an opportunity as a homeschooler now to break free of that model that school has. School is not the gold standard. You get to create something better for your children. So often as homeschoolers, we think, okay, my child is 5 years old. What did I do at school at 5 years old? And you think, okay, I did these subjects, so my 5-year-old will do those subjects as well. And then you find resources for those. You don't need to do that. You are a home educator now. You don't have to follow the school standards. You have the opportunity to do something better. And school is not your gold standard. You get to choose the right subject for your family that align with your values, that will lead to, inshallah, the ambitions you have for your children. You can do something better than school. So the 5 mistakes that homeschoolers make. And can I just say, there are so much more than these 5. And some of you have started to suggest them. But I've just touched on 5 today. Within my course, every single lesson, I think except 1, maybe 2, I think every single lesson almost, I discuss common pitfalls that homeschoolers make so that you don't make them too. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I've made, that other people make. So I spell them out in my course, every single lesson. There's something new to learn with that regard. But the 5 we've talked about here, number 1 was, spending far too long shopping for the best curriculum, the best curriculum, when in fact, really anything would do. The success of your homeschool comes down to you as a parent, not the stuff you buy. Number 2, the mistake they make is underestimating the importance of a happy and fulfilled mum. The 3rd thing was paying far too much attention to all the voices out there giving their own opinions. And of course, I didn't mention, but that could be online as well. That could be people that you follow online as well. And that's worth bearing in mind too. The 4th thing was buying all the curriculum you need in one go for the year or more. Oh my goodness. If that's ever crossed your mind to buy curriculum for next year because they've got some special deal online, don't do it. Please don't buy more than a year's worth of curriculum. And if you can, buy just term by term, okay? And the 5th mistake is to take school as the gold standard and to replicate in all aspects of your homeschool, but particularly I talked about the subjects that you choose, to replicate that in your home when you have a great opportunity here to do something better and different for your children. Right, so I'm going to take questions now. If you've got any questions, pop them into the comments. I will do my best to answer what I can now. For those of you who are going to hop off now, who don't want to stick around for Q&As, remember to head over to launchyourhomeschool.com. Pop your email, there we go, pop your email there at launchyourhomeschool.com, just so that you can keep up to date with what's going on with the course, what the content of the course is, when early bird pricing comes out, just so you know what the content of the course is, and so that you know when enrollment opens. Because like I said, this is not open all year round. It's only going to be open from the 11th of July just for 9 days. And I would hate for you to miss this. I would hate for you to miss out on something that you were interested in. So please just go over there. If you might be interested, launchyourhomeschool.com and pop your email address in. Right, so if you have a question, pop them in the comments now and I'll do my best to answer what I can, inshallah. Just have some water before we do that. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Wa alaikum salam. Right. Let's see if we have better luck on Instagram this week. If you missed last week's session, all of this is being recorded. And so last week's session as well is recorded. So if you're on Facebook, it's just in the tabs, the Facebook video bit on my Facebook page. On Instagram, it's in my IGTV. And this as well, inshallah, will go into IGTV so you can rewatch it. Okay. Okay, great. So we're getting some questions here. So I'll start with Instagram and we'll try and alternate, inshallah. Okay. Okay, so Aisha's asked, how do you make a timetable for homeschooling? Please guide so that we can divide hours for it, or you just make them study anytime they like. Okay. I do not make them study anytime they like, but I also do not have a timetable. What I do and what I recommend you do and the people who join my course do is make a to-do list, what you want your children to do every day, but I do not specify a time. That again is something that works in school where there are very rigid hours, a very rigid system in place where you have to sit at the table in a certain way and, face the teacher and there are bells and, home is not like that. And so timetables tend not to work very well for homeschoolers. Instead, what I recommend is that you make a to-do list of what you want your child to do. And one mistake that, I'll give you a sixth mistake for fun, right? Another mistake that homeschoolers make is that they jump in. They jump in at, what are we going to do this week? So we want to start homeschooling. So let's make a timetable of the week and we'll set out what we do each day for that. That does not work because what ends up happening if you do that is most people will end up scheduling far too much for their children. And they end up worrying, am I doing enough? Is this enough? Because what they haven't done is that they should have reverse engineered it. They should have looked at, okay, what do we want to achieve this year? And then break it down into term by term, then break it down into their weeks, and then create a to-do list for the week. This is something that I have an entire module on in the Launch Your Homeschool course. So I go into a lot of detail on how to do that. So what I suggest for you, Aisha, is don't make a schedule where you have 9 to 10 maths, 10 to 11 English or something like that. Make a to-do list of what you're hoping your children will do that day. But even better than that, try and think about what you want them to achieve in the year and go from there. Try and reverse engineer that. Actually, next week, I'm hoping to do a live session all about homeschool planning. So if you're free, next Sunday, you can join in live and get a bit more information about that. Okay, so let's hop over to Facebook, take one question from here. Okay, so Sidra has asked, when does the course start? So the course enrollment begins on Saturday. So that's the 11th of July. And what you get with that is you get a library of pre-recorded videos. So these are not live sessions in the course. What I decided to do instead of live sessions was to actually pre-record a whole library of videos that you just get lifetime access. You can go through them whenever you want, as many times as you want. You can dip into it whenever you want now because that library of videos is for you then. And so you'll be able, if you sign up on the 11th, you'll get it on the 11th, inshallah, and that's yours for life, inshallah. Also, if you enroll now, you will continue to get any improvements I make in the course over the years. You'll get not only what's available now, but any improvements I make, inshallah. Okay, so let's have a look here on, on Instagram. So Mariam has asked, Salam alaikum salam, how long are you planning to homeschool? You know what, Mariam, I don't know. I think that it's unwise for me to say like to give a time. When I first started homeschooling, I thought it was only going to be for a year. And subhanAllah, like my son is about to start secondary school. He's 10 now. He's almost at that age where he would be going to secondary school soon. And we're still going and we're still loving it. My thought is, with regards to how long we'll be homeschooling, is it depends on my children. Because what I find is every single year they change. And their needs change, and our situation at home changes. And so I think the best and the healthiest way to look at these things is just to stay flexible. And I hope that, you know, we will always do what's best for the children, each individual child. And if the time comes where they have to go to school, if that's what's best for them, then I hope that I would be brave enough to make that decision. Right now, we're happy, alhamdulillah. You know, we're happy homeschooling. So we're going to continue. But yeah, we take it year by year, really. Okay, let's have a look on Facebook. So 2 people are asking how much is the course. So the course is priced, there's 2 prices for the course. The early bird price is £79, and that only lasts for 36 hours. And then after that, the price goes up to £97 for that library of videos and all the extras. So you also get an ebook, you also get the student community, you get the live Q&As throughout the year, you get lifetime access, you get all the improvements that are going to come, inshallah, over the years. Yes. Let's see what else we've got. What time are we at? Okay, I'm going to have to wrap up soon because I think we only have 1 hour here on Instagram and then it cuts off. So let me see. So somebody said, when we had the local authorities come around to see what we were doing, she made me feel that she was matching it up to a state school blueprint. Okay, so I don't know if you are in the UK. If you are in the UK, particularly England and Scotland, you do not have to have local authorities come to your home. You can kindly refuse. And you don't have to meet them at all. You can send them, if you want, an email telling them your plans, showing them what plans you have or what you've achieved so far, or you can do none of that. You do not have to have them into your home, especially if they're making you feel that you're doing something wrong. The law in the UK is that there is no curriculum you have to follow. There is no, common core standards here that you have to do. You can do whatever you want with your children, as long as it is seen by local authorities as providing them with some kind of education. In Wales, I think they're a little bit more pushy about coming to visit. So I don't know, maybe you're in Wales. But if she's matching you up to a state school blueprint, she has no right to do that. You do not have to follow a state school curriculum, the way they do things, the hours they do things. So just be polite to what she says and forget about it. You know if you're doing the right thing for your children. Trust your own intuition. Trust the people around you who are giving you advice, and don't worry about her. Okay, last question, if there's anything here on Facebook. Okay, so Sahir has asked, if we make a to-do list, but the child has no interest in that subject, what do we do then? If your child has no interest in what you're trying to teach them, then first of all, I think you need to respect that. Your children are people, and you might not be interested in something. You wouldn't want it pushed on you. First and foremost, your relationship with your child should come first before your relationship with them as a teacher. So if they're not interested in what you're teaching, stop. Please stop. Don't push it. And take a step back and look at it from a perspective where you don't involve your emotions. Look at it, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Look at it from the lens of somebody who's not emotional. That's what I'm trying to say. What is it about the way you're presenting it that is not working? Or the material you're using? Is there a different kind of book or resource that you're using? Also, how old are your children? Are they really ready for what you're presenting to them? Is it too hard? Are they not developmentally ready for it? Children, as a general rule, want to learn. They're excited to learn new things. So just take a step back and look at, perhaps there's something that you could change and do things differently. Remember, this is not school you're doing. You don't have to do workbooks. You don't have to sit and do workbooks. You can, you can do hands-on activities. You don't have to do things the way school does things. Do songs, you don't have to sit at a desk even. Take your work, sit on the sofa, cuddle on the sofa, do it in front of the fire, go out into the garden. If you have a child who will not sit at a desk for very long, let them stand. They can learn just as much, if not more, if you let them move while they're doing it. And I do that with one of my kids. He does not like to sit down and do his work, so why not let him stand at the kitchen counter? He can wiggle his legs around and he can still be doing his maths workbook while he wiggles. And also keep the lessons short. There's no need for you to do 40 minutes lessons while you're homeschooling. At school, they have, 25, 30 kids that they're trying to teach. You just have 1 or 2 or 3. You don't need to don't need to spend so much time. You can get same amount done, if not more, in 10 minutes as they can do in a lesson in school. So just bear that in mind. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up now. So I hope that's answered your questions to here. It was a really good question, mashallah. Thank you for asking. So all of these videos, yes, inshallah, all of these videos will be recorded, inshallah. They will be saved. They will be uploaded onto Facebook, on the videos tab, on my page there. They will go onto YouTube as well, inshallah. They will be going onto my podcast, Raising Mums. If you prefer to listen on the go while you're folding laundry, while you're in the car, you can do that. They'll be here on IGTV. They'll be on my stories, inshallah, for the next 24 hours as well. So yes, they'll be saved, inshallah, don't worry. You can come back and watch all of this again. So again, if there's even the smallest chance that you might be wanting to enroll in my online course, Launch Your Homeschool, please head over to launchyourhomeschool.com and enter your email address so that you don't miss out on enrollment. It's only open for 9 days. Enrollment opens on Saturday. It's open for 9 days and then it's closed. And I do not anticipate opening it again for the next 12 months. It'll be open again in next summer, inshallah. So you've got the next 9 days and then that's it. It's from the 11th of July. It'll be open for 9 days and then that's it. It's hard work launching a course. I had no idea. Alhamdulillah, I've enjoyed it. But it's hard going. So it's just going to be now and then inshallah it'll be next summer again when it reopens. So if there's even a smallest chance you might be interested, please go and enter your email address at launchyourhomeschool.com. Walaikum salam. Okay, so we're going to wrap up there. Thank you everybody who joined me live. It's been great. I had a great time chatting with you all about the 5 mistakes homeschoolers make. Next week I'll be back on Sunday again and I'll be talking live with you about homeschool planning. Yay! So I hope you'll join me then. I hope you'll join me for the next live session on Sunday about homeschool planning. Thank you everybody for joining me live and I'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.